everyone, welcome to Organolysis. So welcome to another video. Now in this particular video we are going to talk about an important name reaction, that is Corey-Chaykovsky reaction. Okay, so this reaction is important. Why? Just because the question frequently asked from this topic, and this question based upon sulfur halides. Right, now we can correlate with the phosphorus which are used for Wittig reaction. So it is somewhat like that, but its reactivity is quite different. Okay, so that's why this reaction is important. You might know the reaction, you can see in the various question paper also, but you may not know this name reaction, that is a Corey-Chaykovsky reaction, right? So this is important. Now why this is important? Now if you have this kind of substrate that is carbon kind of system, that is you have the alpha beta unsaturated ketone. So this is your alpha beta unsaturated ketone. When you have two different kinds of halides, or basically called sulfur halides. So this kind of is called your sulfur halide, right? So this is your sulfur halide. So there is a two kind of sulfur halide. One is the stabilized sulfur halide, one is the unstabilized sulfur halide. So you can see over here I'm written over here, there is two different kind of sulfur halide. One is this one and another is this one, right? So if you have this kind of substrate in this kind of reagent, then what will be the product of upon using this kind of system? So if you have this unstabilized sulfur halide, then you are getting this epoxide kind of ring. And when you have this stabilized halide, and why it is stabilized, I can show you here, that this negative charge can conjugate with the sulfur double bond O. So that is why this reaction, this halide is stabilized halide, and there is no such stability on this CH2 minus, so that is why it is unstabilized halide. So in case of unstabilized halide, you can remember this thing, that if you have I also discussed why this unstabilized halide is basically formed this epoxide, and stabilized halide from this cyclopropanation, right? You can see over here, that is here you have the unstabilized, you are getting this epoxidation, and when you have the stabilized halide, you are getting this cyclopropane kind of ring in the alpha beta unsaturated position, and under not disturbing this double bond, right? So that is why this reaction is important. Now let's see the mechanism first, then we will move on to this why this reaction takes place. Now you have this kind of substrate, and if you have this and you have the ketone, so it will basically attack on this double bond O, and this O bond backs to the O minus. So you are getting this kind of intermediate. Now you can correlate with this Wittig reaction, that you are, in case of Wittig reaction, you are getting a butane intermediate. So this is also your butane intermediate in this sulfur halide complex, right? So that is how you are getting this butane intermediate. So after this negative charge can attack over here, and it can leave from the system in this way, so that you are getting this SN2 kind of reaction, and you are also getting this epoxide ring formation. Okay, so next see the next one, that is what is the key point. Now, so key point for this reaction is the reagent. So first of all you have to know the reagent, that is the dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide. So the dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide, this is called your dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide, and this one is called your dimethyl sulfoxonium methyl halide. So sulfoxonium means basically S double bond O bond, right? So this is your dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide and dimethyl sulfoxonium methyl halide. So if you have dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide, you are getting the epoxidation reaction, and this is your KCP product, that is your kinetically controlled product. And when you have the sulfoxonium methyl halide, you are getting the cyclopropanation reaction and also the TCP product, that is thermodynamically controlled product. And why this is so, you can see over here, this is your 0 degree temperature, and when you have this stabilized halide, you have to use some certain amount of temperature. It's because it has a lower in energy, just because it is stabilized, so it has lower in energy. It is unstabilized, so that is why it is higher in energy, so it doesn't require any higher kind of temperature. So that is why this reaction takes place in 0 degree, and this reaction takes place in 50 degree. So that is why this is your KCP product and this is your TCP product, and for this reason you are getting to these different kinds of product. When you have KCP, so it can react much faster, so it will react with the C double bond O. And when you have the sulfoxonium, so that just because of it is stable, so that is why it will form the cyclopropanation reaction as well as your thermodynamically controlled product. Now you have to know that how this reaction takes place in case of sulfoxonium methyl halide, how this cyclopropanation reaction, cyclopropan ring is basically formed. Now see, this is the another mechanism for this. Now this you have this stabilized halide over here, this is your positive, so this is your stabilized halide sulfoxonium ion. Now it can attack over here, this is, so it can go over here, it will go over here, so that you are getting this kind of, this is also an betaine intermediate. Now it can go back to here and it will attack over here and it will leave from the system. So that is how you are getting this kind of cyclopropane ring, right? So this is very much important, and that is why the cyclopropanation reaction takes place through this conjugate manner addition. Now you have the one important thing is that of this reaction, that is it is stereoselective. So this is very much important, that is this reaction is stereoselective. I also show you some examples then why this is why this kind of reaction is stereoselective. And this reaction is basically used for the cyclopropanation, epoxidation and acidination also. Now we all aware of that, how the cyclopropanation reaction takes place, how the epoxidation takes place. Now one more new term comes, that the acidination. Now what is acidination? Now you can see from the name, that is Azi, that means it contains a nitrogen kind of ring. So that is why it is called acidination. I also show you here that, see how this acidination takes place. You have this stabilized halide, stabilized sulfoxonium methyl halide. Now it can attack over here, you are getting this negative charge over here, and this negative charge simultaneously attack over here, and this will leave from the system, and that is how you are getting this kind of ring. And this moiety is basically called aziridine. So this is called aziridine. Now one more example is that if you have, now let's see them different kind of examples. For that you have given this kind of substrate. If you have this negative charge over here and you have positive of the sulfur system, you can easily say that this is your stabilized halide. So what will be the product? Is it a cyclopropanation or epoxidation? You can easily predict that if you have stabilized halide, it will also follow this alpha beta unsaturated ketone in a conjugate manner, and then you are getting cyclopropanation ring, and that is why you are getting this cyclopropanation ring over here. So this is your final product. Now see the stereoselectivity of the reaction. Now if you have this kind of substrate, that is 4 tertiary methyl group and with a C double bond O, if you have this kind of substrate, now if we use this unstabilized halide, that is Me2C CH2 minus, that is basically called sulfonium methyl halide. If we use this sulfonium methyl halide, then this kind of epoxide axial attack is basically formed. Now what is your axial attack? So this is your axial position of axial attack, and this can be your equatorial attack. So this is your equatorial attack. Now if we have this kind of substrate, now it is comparatively less bulkier, so it can approach from here, that is from this side. So you are getting this axial opening and followed by this epoxidation formation, and you are getting this product is in 83%. And whether you are getting this epoxide in axial attack is only 17%. And when you have this sulfoxonium, that is stabilized halide, then you are getting this epoxide in axial attack is null, but you are getting 100% in your equatorial attack. So that is why this reaction is very much stereoselective, and this is comparatively bulkier from this dimethyl sulfonium methyl halide. So that is why it will attack from the equatorial position, and that is how you are getting this epoxide in the equatorial attack position in case of equatorial attack, and you are getting this epoxide in 100%, and that is why this reaction is called stereoselective, right? So this is your stereoselectivity of the reaction. Next, one more thing you have to know, that the last but not the least, that is if you have this kind of substrate, that is your negative charge over here, that is your sulfur halide, and if you have any kind of aldehyde, now what will be the product? Either it is cis or it is trans. So you can have these two possibility. So this is your cis epoxide and this is your trans epoxide. Now what will be your final product, and how can you predict that whether this cis epoxidation is formation or the trans epoxidation is formation? Now for that you have to know, now if you place this in this way, that is, you can see over here, that is carbon is negatively charged and R group over here, and this is your aldehyde. so it can attack over here and it will go from here. That is how you are getting this O minus, so that you are getting this kind of intermediate, and that is basically called your Bethe intermediate. So you all might aware that this negative charge can attack over here and SpH2 will simultaneously leave from the system, and for that reaction you have to place in this position is anti-periplanar one. So you can see over here this is not your anti-periplanar position, so this bond can rotate. So this is just because of your single CC single bond, so it can rotate. So if it is rotate, then it can form in this way. Now there is a steric repulsion over here just between this R and R prime group, so it can attack over here and you will leave from the system just because of steric repulsion, and you are getting this cis one, but you are not getting in cis one, you are finally getting the trans epoxide. And just because of if you have this RR steric repulsion over in this cis oxidation case, so that is why cis oxidation is not formed, and you are getting this trans epoxide. And how it will form, let's see. That this negative charge attack over here in this way, so you are getting this kind of intermediate. Now you have to arrange this group in this manner, and that is how you can predict that whether it is cis or whether it is trans. So you are getting this negative charge attack over here, and they form the negative O minus. So this negative O minus can attack over here and it will leave from the system. For that you have to arrange this in the anti-periplanar position. So now in this free rotation you are getting this one. So this is now your anti-periplanar position, but in this case there is no such steric repulsion which can dominate. So that is why it can easily attack over here and it will leave from the system. So that is how you are getting this trans variant is in your major amount, right? So that is why this trans epoxide is basically formed, and it is also your stereoselective reaction. So you can correlate with this all those sulfur ylide case in the phosphorus ylide when what we are using in case of Wittig reaction, right? So this is all about the Corey-Shekhovsky reaction. It is very much important, and this particular question came in CSIR exam. I didn't remember the exact year, but this question came for in CSIR exam, right? So this is very much important for your examination purpose, and I hope this video is very much helpful for you. You are getting so much information from this topic, and that's it for this video, and thank you so much for watching.